Well, got my headset on today, folks, because the whiff is doing um, dishes, and it's more than halfway done. Normally, I just turn it off and turn it back on, or start it before I even start my videos. I mean, after I'm done with my videos, but it's halfway done, so sound quality may not be as nice as my Yeti Blue microphone that I normally use, which I love that thing. At least I think I sound better on it, anyways. Anyways, doesn't stop me from giving you the news. Realist news must continue, no matter what the obstacle. I want to talk about a couple of things in this video. And first of all, when it comes to WikiLeaks, they have a track record. So I'll ask anybody listening, have you ever found something that WikiLeaks posted out there and said, here's the documentation, they showed it, they shared it, etc., like they normally do. And we said, oh, that was completely false. That was nonsense. I don't know of anything to date myself that I could say that for. In other words, they have a pretty damn good track record. That's what I'm saying. Why? Because the next thing I'm about to read you, which I'm sure you may have just heard about, um, the CIA, thanks to WikiLeaks dump, the ways that they can hack us and have been hacking us. And I'm just going to say, believe me, when the CIA decides to hack somebody or put malware on their phone or computer or smart TV or home router, trust me when I tell you, there's not a chance in hell they're going to the FISA court or anywhere else. They're just going to do it. Okay, that's how they work. Sovereign Man, I mentioned to you all the time. I get his emails. I subscribe to his emails. Simon Black, sovereignman.com. The most shocking revelation from the CIA spying scandal that has now just erupted thanks to WikiLeaks. Again, WikiLeaks, you are a patriot of the world, my friend. And I will say this, is it me or is WikiLeaks only have incredible bombshell information on the United States? There's no other country they tend to go after. I guess the rest of the world out there, nothing to be concerned with. It's the freaking US dog, Warhawk, that they're after. Not what it is what it is, I'm just saying. He says it happened again. Another spying scandal in the land of the free. Yesterday, WikiLeaks released 8,761 CIA documents detailing the agency's hacking of smartphones, routers, computers, and even televisions. The files reveal that the CIA can and has hacked devices that were supposedly secure. The iPhone, the iPads, and even Android devices. Yeah, and listen about that Apple stuff. Apple can't get viruses, can't be hacked. Yeah, listen, we need to talk about that. The documents further reveal that the CIA is deliberately infecting personal computers with spyware, including Windows, here it is, Mac, OS X, Solaris, Linux, and other operating systems. Again, I thought Mac, Apple can't be hacked, can't have viruses, can't have stuff. Right. I remember arguing with people online long ago. Oh well, I'll never get a Windows machine because they get viruses and stuff. Apples don't. And I said, and this was years ago. I said, well, that's because hackers aren't wasting their time with a fraction of a percent of the population who owns a Apple or Mac. Now, granted, in later times like nowadays, there's a lot more people who do own those. However, if a man made it, another man can hack it, plain and simple. They've also managed to make the rest of the world believe that Russian hackers, not the CIA, are behind all this malware and spyware. It's like a restatement of that old mission, impossible line. Should any of our or your IM force be caught or killed, we'll blame Russia. The CIA is pretty shameless about its activities, nicknaming its various hacking programs Assassin, Medusa, and Brutal Kangaroo. That's an interesting one. One of the Uh, Deepest revelations is that the agency is able to hack internet-connected televisions, including Samsung Smart TVs, through a program called Weeping Angel. Basically, the CIA can turn your TV into a listening device, record conversations in the room, and transmit the audio to a CIA server, even if you think the TV is off. It is not. CIA hackers have been able to spoof the on/off display and set the television to a false off mode. Bottom line, no device that's connected to the outside world is truly safe. And future WikiLeaks publications may show that the intelligence community is hacking home automated devices, internet connected automobiles, including driverless vehicles, and artificial intelligence like Amazon's Alexa. Speaking of hacking automobiles, you remember the video I shared with you a little while back? The Vladimir Putin's best favorite driver. Putin was not in the car, just the driver was. They were going down the interstate or something in Russia, and there's no guard, guard thing, whatever, divider from oncoming traffic or whatever. So if you lose control, you could go into oncoming traffic. At precisely, I mean precisely the right moment, a woman driving in the fast lane, let's say heading north, Putin's driver's heading south, also in the fast lane, so they're next to each other, coming at each other. Her car jerks uncontrollably to the left, smashing into his car perfectly, killing him. And I told you then, without any thought, without even having to wonder, I said that thing is controlled. They put on the brakes on the left side only, left front wheel only, hit the brakes. How do they do it? Anti-lock brake system has the capability of doing it. It can pulse your brakes. It can squeeze the brakes harder. It can stop altogether. It's built in. ABS. It's controlled by your computer. So if you can talk to the car's computer wirelessly and quote unquote infect it or control certain parts of the vehicle through that, voila. No one's going to know anything. They're not going to go in there and find out, oh, someone was hacking into your ECU of the car. Nope. They're going to say you had some kind of faulty brake problem. Maybe she wasn't paying attention. She's not going to know. It happened so fast, she would never even know what happened. I was just driving, and all of a sudden my car jerked to the left and happened to kill Putin's favorite driver. Come on. And then I showed you the other video about the Jeep Cherokee or whatever. Some kids hacked it down the street, shut it off, turned the radio on and off, windows up and down, like all kinds of stuff. So yeah, about those, the internet of IoT, Internet of Things, cloud computing, now someone can sit at their house, or the CIA can sit at their, agent's house or at his job, wherever, right from his computer, take advantage of all kinds of things without ever having to leave his little seat. So anyways, in future, it says, bottom line, no device that's connected to the outside world is truly safe. In future WikiLeaks publications may show that the intelligence community is hacking home automation devices, internet-connected automobiles, including driverless vehicles, and artificial intelligence like Amazon's Alexa. It's hard to be shocked at this point that the government is spying on its own allies and citizens. This is just the latest in a pattern of brazen surveillance and flagrant constitutional violations on the part of the U.S. intelligence community. But that's precisely what I find most concerning, the lack of concern over these new CIA documents. People have such a low expectation of their government now and have become so accustomed to the government routinely violating their civil liberties that there's hardly any public outrage anymore about these spying scandals. More importantly, the lack of concern is indicative of what freedom means in the land of the free today. And here's a great example. Young people are traditionally the most politically charged activists in the country. But where are the protests across university campuses demanding freedom and privacy? None of them. They're just protesting Trump. That's because they're paid. Okay? It's not happening. They are not demanding freedom and privacy. That's because university students are too busy protesting against ideas they don't want to hear about. At Middlebury College last week, a small liberal arts school in Vermont, a small mob of students protesters physically assaulted a conservative speaker because his ideas offended them. They couldn't simply skip the lecture and allow interested students to attend. No, they had to engage in violent censorship, oppressing any idea that doesn't conform to their narrow agenda. The only thing these cry bullies are interested in hearing is apologetic white men groveling over their privilege. This is the new reality in the land of the free. Freedom has deteriorated into some gender studies professor's socialist fantasy. Constitutionally guaranteed liberties have become irrelevant. Forget about free speech. Any intellectual dissent from the intolerable social justice view is now considered hate speech. And the Fourth Amendment, which establishes the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, has become a long distant memory. As a child who grew up in the 80s during the height of the Cold War, I imagine there would have been widespread disgust if a similar scandal had been exposed. Spying on the citizens and allies? That's what the Soviet Union did. But today, everything else is more important. Transgender bathrooms, silencing hate speech, forcing elementary school children to feel guilty about their white privilege, political correctness in extreme, hashtag everyone else but white people's lives matter. This is what dominates the social conversation now in the land of the free. Privacy is no longer a Western value. After all, people narcissistically upload their entire lives to social media as if anyone cares what they're having for dinner, so that Mark Zuckerberg can auction off our details, privacy, to the highest bidder. And it is precisely this decline that I find most disturbing. Some people hold the idiotic belief that if I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to fear. This is dangerous logic for so many reasons. Even the use of the word hide is ridiculous, as if the fact that I don't upload photos of my nether regions to Instagram means that I'm hiding something. Well, we all keep things private. It's why we wear clothing, don't discuss our personal finances in polite company, and worry when our social security number is stolen. But more importantly, if it doesn't matter that the CIA is monitoring people's most intimate moments, then does anything matter? They keep moving the line, probing deeper and deeper into our lives, and enveloping the nation inside an Orwellian surveillance state. And it doesn't stop because we're in the midst of a complete breakdown of Western values. And I am here to tell you, I've said this before, and I will say it again. Don't think for one second all these congressmen and women and senators who have super dirt, whether it's pedophilia or anything else, dirt that the CIA, with all its cool gadgets and hacking stuff, along with the NSA, have come to them and said, listen, we really need to pass this bill. And I understand you're not going to want to pass it. Yeah, that's correct. I'm going to leave this envelope on your desk, and just want you to take a look at it. And we expect to see a yes vote on tomorrow's legislation. Okay? Have a nice day, Senator. And then they walk out. Or maybe they just mail it to them. They don't even have to be there. If you vote no tomorrow, here's what we got. Oh, damn. Yeah, they know about that. Ooh, got to vote yes. But what if Donald Trump now has that information and is using it against them? That would be fantastic. Don't know that he does, but the Anthony Weiner laptop, life insurance folder, remember that one? So yeah, I just want to cover one other thing real quick. I was just telling you yesterday's videos. GDP should have been 1.8 or whatever. It's revised down to 1.3, and it got a special revision down to 1.2. The quarterly GDP. The Atlanta Fed's GDP Now model, which forecasts GDP growth in the U.S. is in the current quarter, picks up data as it relates or as it's released and changes the forecast in real time. As the quarter advances and as much more data is included, it becomes a more accurate predictor, not of actual economic growth, but of GDP as measured in the first estimate for that quarter by the Bureau of Economic Analysis. So we're 67 days into the first quarter, and the GDP Now forecast has been spiraling down in an amazing manner for the past 9 days. The model now forecasts GDP growth in quarter one now down to 1.2%, seasonally adjusted annual rate. This means that if the economy continues to grow at this rate for the rest of the year, the GDP growth would be at 1.2%, which would be the worst since the financial crisis. Let me ask you a question, and this particular article is actually from Wall Street, but 1.2%, how in the living hell markets all-time high rally out of control? S&P, Dow Jones, everything under the sun, rally. When there is horrible GDP, gross domestic product. How is it possible? If everything's not rigged, if the markets are not rigged, how in the hell are they going up the way they're going up with horrible GDP like that? I gotta know. And remember, last 10 years, they revised every single year down to worse than terrible. They already sucked, and they revised them all down each year because they were that bad. Almost hard to believe. Yesterday's release of the GDP Now forecast has plunged from 1.8%. Again, it was supposed to be 1, and it said as of March 1st, it was 1.3%. And then on March 2nd, March 6th, it lowered again. Growth in real personal consumption expenditures fell from 2.1% to 1.8%. Growth in real non-residential equipment investment fell from 9.1% to 7.3%. Contribution of inventory investment to quarter one growth fell from minus 0.50% to 0.72%. The Atlanta Fed's chart shows the 9-day plunge from 2.5% just on February 27th to 1.2% today. If you want to take a look at that, I'll just bring that up. You're talking 9 days, okay? 9 days. And it drops that much? Are you kidding me? Nope. Don't worry about it. Life's going to be fantastic. Stock market will continue to rally. Gold and silver will continue to get smashed. Nothing to see here. Take care.